Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Colleen, if you don't know. Apologies in advance for some background noise because my dad's playing guitar and I didn't want to clean my fish tank, so for those of you wondering, my fish did die, so it's like, it's fine. But there might be a little bit of bubbly water sound in the background, which personally I find really relaxing, but can be annoying in something like this. I need to open up my my spreadsheet because I totally forgot what I read in June. So let's open up with some good statistics. So June was like an okay reading month. I had 11 books on my TBR. Most of them I didn't read. Obviously I didn't read any of my 5-star predictions, which is not great. And I also didn't finish one of my jar picks, but I did start it. I'm about halfway through, and that is Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. It's good. I'm taking a little bit of a break from it because it was Canada Day yesterday, and I read Year of the Flood instead of that. It's good. I borrowed 7 books from my library. I bought 16. I read 15, so that gives you a pretty good idea of things that happened in my life in the last month. 3 of the books were by male authors, 10 of them were by female authors, and 2 of them were by mixes of both. I have them in another category because, like, you know, if I'm reading a graphic novel and not all of the contributors are either male or female or like whatever, I don't want them to like influence my statistics that way. But also if there was an author that was like non-binary or whatever, they also have a section, which is great. I read 5,761 pages, which is pretty good. It was actually 100 pages more than I read last month when I read 22 books, so go me. And for my star breakdown, I rated 2 books 2 stars, 3 books 3 stars, 9 books 4 stars, and 1 book 5 star. Great. I read 3 arcs, and everything else that I read was a physical book. 9 of them were adult, and 6 of them were YA. So, don't know why I turned that off, because I still need it. But that's how my reading kind of broke down over the month. And let's start off with the first book that I read was The Gentle Art of Swedish Desk Cleaning. I was expecting better things from this. I did not like it. I rated it 2 stars. I thought, like, it was going to give you, like, practical tips about how to death clean, which is, like, you don't do it. You do it before you die, so you, like, go through all your stuff so your family doesn't have to. But instead it was just like some old woman ranting about her life, and it was boring. And it was dumb. Would not recommend. Darn. Then I read The Ruin by Dervla McTiernan. I returned that to the library already, so I don't have it with me anymore. But it was really good. I rated it 4 stars. That's the first book in the Cormac Riley series. And it was really good. I will eventually someday buy it. Then I read Death Note Volume 1. This was a jar pick. Boop. And I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed it so much that I have bought Volume 2 already. I rated it 4 stars. Okay. Then I read The Poison Thread, which is an arc that I got from my work. It is now out. It came out on the 18th. I did a review of this. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. And yeah. It was, like, reminded me a lot of Alias Grace, but with, like, some magic, which was great. And for those of you who don't know, I work for Chapters Indigo. That's how I get arcs. I don't know what else to tell you. Then I read probably my favorite book of the month, and that was Terrier by Tamora Pierce. It was another one of my jar picks. It was great. I'm excited to read the rest of the series. I rated it 5 stars, although I did have a rocky start with that book. And then I read, or finished, The Bone Witch. If you'd like more information on The Bone Witch and Strange the Dreamer, I did do a reading vlog for that because they were part of my try chapter. I did really enjoy The Bone Witch. I rated it 4 out of 5, and I am going to read the second book in that series. Good times, happy times, good things. Then I took a break from that and read Captain Marvel, Earth's Mightiest Hero, Volume 1. by a whole bunch of different people. I didn't like the way that the art style changed so frequently, I found that a little confusing. I still rated it 4 stars though because I love Captain Marvel and I thought that the story was really good in it. So I mean, overall, enjoyed or will continue on with that series. After that, I read one of my other jar picks, Behemoth by Scott Westerfeld. I think I rated this also 4 stars. It had been a long time since I read the first book, so it took me a couple of chapters to get back into it, but I really do enjoy it. It's an alternative history of World War II where like there's some extreme Darwinism and stuff like that, which is really cool. This book took place in Constantinople, Istanbul, and for the whole entire book I listened to Istanbul, not Constantinople, because that was my earworm. Then I read Strange the Dreamer. I think it was probably like the most disappointing book I've read so far this year. I only rated it 3 stars. I expected it to be like a 5 star. So that was disappointing. And again, my vlog is there for you if you want to watch that. Then I read The Porpoise by Mark Haddon. I got this as an ARC. It is also out now. It came out on the 18th? Yeah, on the 18th of June. So if you're interested in this, go for it. I didn't like it that much. I think I rated it a 2. I totally rated it a 2. Trigger warnings for sexual assault, abuse. Yeah. The actual retelling of this book was really good. It was just all the parts that took place in the modern time were not good. Then I read Voyaging by Janet Browne, or to be more accurate, I finished Voyaging. It was one of my jar picks. I was like 200 pages through it from several years ago when I wrote a book report on the whole entire book. It was the only time that I did such a corner-cutting job, but I enjoyed it. I like Darwin a lot. When I first started reading it, I was like, oh, it's a biography that reads like a novel, and like, no, this is a dense academic book now to me. It does have some pictures, it tells some really cool stories, and this book goes from 2 generations back. Talks about Erasmus, who wrote some really great scientific poetry, if you're into that, and goes through all that until Darwin's voyages, and it comes back and he has finished most of the writing for Origins, and he's just starting to think about publication. So it is a 2-part biography. I have the other part over there. I think it's called Evolving or something like that. I'll get to it eventually. And then the last book that I have with me right now that I read is another ARC. It's Bunny by Mona Awad. I did not do a review for this because I read it after the date. It came out on June the 11th. I picked it up from my store on June the 10th, so I didn't get it done until later in the month. But I did enjoy it. I rated it a 4 out of 5. Like, it was weird. It kind of felt like a fever dream. Maybe there was some stuff in here that I didn't get, but it was a highly enjoyable book to read. And then I have 3 other library books to finish the month off with. First was Giant Days Volume 8. I enjoyed that as much as Volume 7. There's going to be some like things that are going to happen in Volume 9 that I'm very excited about. I rated it 4 stars. Then I read One Dark Throne, which is the second book in the 3 Dark Crowns trilogy by Kendare Blake. I enjoyed it, but not as much as the first, so I rated it 3 stars. But I am going to continue on the series still, so look forward to that. And then last week I read King of Scars, and for more details on that, please watch my vlog. But I do 3 stars. That's all I want to say about it. I like Nikolai a lot. I'm upset that he wasn't really the main character. But that's what I read in June. All 15 books. I wish I had finished the Wheel of Time book that I had, because that would have made all of my jar picks done. But, you know, you can't win everything. Stay tuned for what I can accomplish in this month. I'm still feeling a little slumpy, but we do have the reading rush coming up. My TBR is coming soon. I actually don't know when that TBR is coming out. It's scheduled. It's filmed. But let me know in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, what you think about them, or if you haven't read any of these books and now you want to read any of these books, that would be cool too. But I'll catch you in my next video soon, and I'll see you then.